If you've been chasing the latest motivation, tips, tricks, trends, hacks, and gurus, this video is for you. This is because the habits that are actually going to change your life are boring. And the truth is, we don't avoid these habits because they're hard. We actually avoid them because they feel like they're not, or it seems like they're not working. So we avoid these boring habits or just quit altogether. And I used to do the same exact thing. Random hairbrush here that I want to use like a mic just to, stay focused. So starting with my health, in terms of fitness, in terms of how I wanted to look, for the last 2 years, I found that I had a season where I was not working out, and then I had a season where I was working out. And then at the end of 2025, I came to look at myself and realize that I think I'd gained weight. So I locked in 2025, the beginning of 2025. I went back to working out 5 times a week. I added on a run on the weekends, so that's 6 times a week, which would be great if I could have seen the results. So I had to sit down and figure out what is it that I was not doing, or what was I doing in my daily routine that was increasing me or leading me to increasing weight, right? And I noticed that while my fitness had become more tuned into my timetable, tuned into my life at that point in 2025, my food habits had changed because I do have a sweet tooth, but now I was stress eating more. I thought I was mentally locked in and at rest, only to realize that I wasn't. In one way or another, I was letting that out food-wise. There's this particular cookie and donut that I realized when I counted back, I would have almost maybe every morning. And then there's a local pastry here that is like fried dough, right? So on top of that is another piece of fried dough, just like the donut, right? And when you count those calories, they're empty calories. Add on extra slices of bread, white bread, that we've come to learn has no literal nutritional value, right? Somehow I reduced my veggie intake. I love veggies, I love fresh vegetables, fruits and all that. I don't have a problem with that, but they weren't really there in my diet. So no salads, no fruits, occasional fruits here and there. I also added on refined sugars in terms of juice, drinks, things like that I wasn't really conscious I was doing. But then the thing is, this became boring habits that were happening every day. And those boring habits every day that were negative resulted in a version of me at the end of the year that I didn't like. So that's health. Let's just leave it there for now. In terms of finances, the daily things I was doing was getting my paycheck at the time at the end of the month. And where was I getting those snacks and things like that I hadn't budgeted for? I was buying them out of the money that I was supposed to have saved. So that daily habit, that daily negative habit of buying those snacks, cheat days that became everyday, foods, treats, and things like that, became daily habits in my finances. So I was losing at the end of the day instead of gaining. I wasn't saving anything. And at the end of the month, I'd pat myself on the back thinking, well, I paid my bills and things like that. That's fine. The last thing is my YouTube channel. I have another YouTube channel where I thought, I've had that channel for years, and it's only last year that I decided to lock in. But how I came to that was realizing again, after doing much research on YouTube gurus and how they run successful channels and made millions of dollars, is that there were things that they were doing daily. They were showing up for their channels, number one. They were creating content intentionally. There was editing. There was all the work that's involved in the behind the scenes of making a YouTube video, but they were there. For me, I feel like I was just happy that I had a YouTube channel. So tick, that's good to go. If you ask me, at least I'd taken a step. But that step lasted 12 years now, I think, if I'm not wrong. And then there was nothing. So I looked at my channel. My channel was very active. I had a couple of subscribers, less than 50. But for me, those were milestones. So I just decided that, it's fine. Then again, I came to realize in 2025 that, or rather, it was more of a challenge. I challenged myself to lock in every single day, like I've said on a previous video, to do YouTube shorts daily. So that required me to sit down and take time out of my daily routine to make these shorts, to edit them, to come up with to optimize the metadata and all that. And I was able to see progress after 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. The progress was incremental because I came across a video that reminded me of something one of my teachers said in one of my, primary school or whatever, is that 1% improvement every day, if you multiply that times 100, is 100% improvement. Now, there's some days you're going to give 10% improvement, there's some days you're going to give 5, but it compounds. And when I looked at my channel on the 29th of December, I had a breakthrough whereby one of the shorts went viral. When I look at the number of subscribers increased, the comments went from 1 a week to 1 a day to 1 an hour, right? To the point where I couldn't keep up, because I used to ask myself, why are these big channels, in that niche, not responding to all the comments? If it was me, I'd be responding to everything. And then now I was overwhelmed. Like, there's a comment here, I fall asleep, wake up, there's 5 comments, 10 comments, 12 comments. People are replying to comments. One day I woke up and there was this extremely long comment of how someone was so appreciative of this video, of rather the short, and they had a similar experience and all that stuff. And it was great because that was a really meaningful comment, right? So these are the accumulation and summing up of these daily habits that improved my workflow in my YouTube channel, me becoming a creator and all that on YouTube, in my finances, where I was able to cut out unnecessary things that I was doing daily or weekly spending, things like that. And in my health, my fitness, I was able to look at bringing things down right to my diet of every single day. I had to do it by the hour, by the meal, just to analyze what was I eating, for breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever it is. Was I skipping meals? And all that compounded into end of 2025, coming into 2026. We're done with Q1 of 2026. And the daily habits I've implemented have changed my life drastically. So let's take out the guilt, right? It's not that you're lazy. If you clicked on this video, it means to me that you're ready to take the next step, right? You're ready to finally figure out what's that thing that you'll do that will actually take you to the next level or ensure that this year is better than any other year you've ever had, right? So again, the boring habits. It's things that we do every single day that add up little by little to the eventual thing that we want to see or have. So it's not that we don't like to do these habits. Well, it is actually. It's because they look like they're not working. It seems like they're not working. How would I have known that those YouTube shorts that I did for 30 days, that was scheduling content for 30 days, would result in one of those shorts taking off and leading my channel to get monetized? The only way I could have found out was by actually doing the work. At one point I got burnt out, but I still pulled through. Was it hard? Yes. So another thing I'm here to say is that there's nothing that you're going to do that's worth doing that's necessarily going to be easy. So at least don't let anyone lie to you about that. At the very least, you should be enjoying it because it's something that you're working towards. And if you're not enjoying it, the future thing you're looking towards is the enjoyment in actual fact, right? Because motivation in the day-to-day can run out, but having a vision of what you want to see, what you want to experience, maybe it's traveling to your dream country, that's a feeling that someone can't take away from you even before you land in that country, right? So what steps do you need to take today? Like, I have a video about taking the first step. So for me, I had to sit down and ask myself, what's the first step? The first step for me with that channel, because it already existed, was actually finding out how to make a YouTube short, how to edit, how to make thumbnails and things like that. Those were things I was learning on the job, but it was daily work. There are times I take breaks, yes. I am a full advocate for rest, but structured rest, right? If you've worked for X number of days, X number of hours, you do need to rest. So this whole thing where people guilt trip people about taking breaks and resting, for me personally, it's wrong. Boring is actually your advantage in this case, right? Identify the area of your life that you'd like to improve. Is it your career? Is it your health, fitness? Is it what you've been eating? Is it your business? Is it finances? Whatever the case that might be, and find out what are the daily things that you need to do. Are they weekly things? Whatever the case may be. But what you'll find is that there are things that you'll have to consistently and constantly do, right? So for example, for me, for YouTube, or for you who maybe wants to start a YouTube channel, that could be posting content, for example, on this channel that I have, whereby I don't yet have X number of subscribers, I don't yet have some video that's taken off, but I'm showing up, right? Regardless of what things may look like right now, I'm still showing up, still editing, still trying to get better, still learning how to speak better, still trying to organize my content, doing all of that. The mundane or mundane things that nobody might want to do, or everybody who jumps on to start a YouTube channel falls off along the way, because then they realize they have to do this consistently or constantly. If it's finances, talk about maybe saving, starting to save where you were not saving at all. Maybe you are spending every day, include no spending days. If you consistently do that for a month, even if you just introduce one no spend day, if you count that over 12 months, it accumulates and counts for something. So whatever the case may be, find out what boring habit you need to implement into your day-to-day routine, into your weekly routine, or into your monthly routine, and implement it. This involves a mindset shift, right? It involves renewing your mind to understand that this boring, like I said, is actually your advantage. What you're doing today for your future self tomorrow, take your feelings out of it. Your future self is standing there looking at you. Time is going to pass. If you think for the next 30 days, I don't feel like doing this, your future version is just frozen there. Just imagine that, frozen there in some ice block, just waiting for you to feel better so that you can do the thing, or you can start doing the daily thing that you've been promising yourself you're going to do. So take that out, take your feelings out of the equation. You're never going to always feel amazing. There are some days you might not feel so great, but you can still show up in anyway. So for me, I remember there's a time in terms of fitness, I would always say that if I didn't work out in the morning, that was the end of that day, and I'd have to wait for the next day because I didn't feel like it, right? Then I came to realize, as someone used to tell me, never say never, right? So I was like, what if I could work out even if it was just 10 minutes at lunch hour, whatever other point in time in the day that I had time. Then I came to realize, okay, I can push myself even within that day. I don't have to lose the whole day, and I'll still have met my requirements for the day. Siblings, stop chasing exciting, at least for now, right? Find out, identify, and get ready to start those boring habits, those daily habits, and watch your life transform. Don't forget, by boring, we're not talking about boring bad habits. I'm talking about high value boring habits. Implement these for the next 30 days and, record your progress, take notes, measure your success. You might not see everything you want to see at the end of those 30 days, for example, but I guarantee you something about you will have changed. I'll see you on the next one, and once we hit 50 subscribers, we'll have our first family meeting.